why did I have to get all these buckets?
Well, you know, there's so many different uses for 5-gallon buckets around the house, and we've actually shown a few of those uses on the shows in the past. But I've got an idea of a solution to a storage problem a lot of homeowners have.
Now, just so you don't think I ran around different job sites stealing buckets, I do know a painter, asked him to save some for me, but I still had to clean them all out. Now, it brings up a good point. If you want to collect buckets like this, don't go for the ones with roofing cement or glue in them. You'll never get them clean.
Well, you did do a pretty good job getting these nice and clean. But my idea is actually to create a mudroom caddy where you come into your mudroom or into your entryway of your home, maybe the back door near the kitchen or in the garage, and you're able to use this for a lot of those things that get dropped off all over the floor. First thing we have to do is figure out how we can cut this little rim off in order to get started on it. I'm thinking the solution may be using a jigsaw. The lip of the bucket should act as kind of a fence to keep the cut straight all the way around the bucket, but seems to be a little bit easier to hold the saw still and let Alan rotate the bucket into it. Then we sand off the rough edges before we begin laying out our design, which in this case will be a pyramid shape. Because these buckets are tapered, not straight cylinders, this is where it gets a little tricky. There are going to be several different angles working, so we're experimenting and test fitting as we go along. Now, after some trial and error, we arrive at the angle that seems to work just right. This framework will be nailed together, and then we'll begin creating a support for the back side of the bucket, a simple triangle made from scrap plywood. After all the wood parts are sanded, primed, and painted, the final assembly can begin with screwing the buckets to the plywood in the proper arrangement. These bulldog clamps really help to keep everything straight. Then we can set the buckets inside the frame and begin attaching the buckets with small screws. So what do you think? Pretty simple, huh?
Yeah, you know, you have a pretty good idea every now and again. This actually is a really good idea. We've cut the tops off so it doesn't intrude too much into the room, right up against the door, perfect for the kids to put the muddy shoes, maybe even some outdoor toys.
Yeah, and you could make it as big or as little as you want. We've used 6 buckets, but you could use 3, 5, or a whole stack of